co-host. Oh, I'm a tiny fella.
Aw,
Ooh.
small.
Well, that's as down as you're gonna get. Hey. So, hey everybody.
Hi.
Hi. One of these days, very soon, I'll be regular about this show. Anyway, it's Dusty DM. Hannah's with me today.
I'm the Hannah.
What are we here to talk about, the Hannah?
We're talking about Kings of War.
Yeah.
It's a fabulous game that, God, you just got into it.
Yeah.
And therefore I got into it.
That's
pretty hard.
That's a fair thing that happens in the world of all these fantasy.
Has it been like a month? Maybe.
I was gonna say, let me see if this worked. Yeah, it's been, I think, early December, maybe. And
Yeah.
Is there a knife on?
God, it would be so cool if I just had a knife.
I know, it would be. But either case, yeah, I picked up on it just kind of interest-wise early December and talked to him about it. Our friend of the show, Greg, talked to him about it and got him mildly obsessed.
Hey, Greg.
Hey, Greg.
Hey, fella.
But anyway, so we've played 3-4 times now? 3 times. I think we've played, what, 3 times?
Man,
Maybe 4?
It feels like we've played more, but these sessions can last. It feels like we've played more than that, but I think technically you're right. I think it's only been 4 or 5 times.
Yeah. Which is
because you're gonna, when you're done, you're gonna set it up for another game.
True.
Like,
I gotcha. Yeah, so anyway, I just unveiled the latest mold that I did. The last of my molds for now, which is
beautiful.
Objective marker.
Perfect.
For the scenarios in the game. So, yeah, it's been this is one of those games that, like, if you've never played it before, if you've never played war games before, as Hannah has never played infantry style wargaming.
Not tabletop, no.
Yeah. You're a fan of...
I definitely, I will never proclaim that I have ever been like a hardcore gamer, but games that, like, I've always had like 1 or 2 games that I was just obsessed with, and for a long time that was Age of Empires. So I'm not super unfamiliar with having, building your armies and using some strategy to, maneuver your men around. But I'm more familiar with it in a PC gaming sense.
Right. Which I'm not familiar with PC at all. I'm not familiar with... there were never any turn-styled or wargame-styled games on any platform that I really enjoyed or that caught me all that well.
Even like Civilization?
No.
Something like that? Yeah. Because that's what happens when your dad's a history teacher and also a huge nerd.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I was more into interactive games. Like, I enjoyed first-person shooters more than anything. Because, white male from the 90s.
Sure.
Happens. But anyway, so how has your experience with this game been?
I liked this game immediately. To me, this is like what... I know I've said this to you before. This is what I thought D&D was like as a kid.
Right.
Because I always liked my little Fisher-Price knights and my military guys, my little army men, had a lot of those. I always wanted it to be more about playing with little figures. And I do think that if you're someone who loves minis, then you're gonna like this game.
I certainly...
Possibly even more so than just straight up RPGs, I would say. If you're someone who just loves minis,
Yeah.
like in any sense, you'd probably get a kick out of this game.
Well, we had been playing. I was gonna say, well, we had a few campaigns going in D&D, and then like, yeah, we played Pandemic, and I had the urge to play. I had the urge to play Risk again. I hadn't played Risk in a while, as I used to play it very often when I was, 18, 19, around that
That's a
area.
person.
What's that?
Am I smoking you up?
No, it's okay. But when we played Pandemic, which was a fun ass game,
Yeah.
it switched me over to like, I really wish I really wish that we'd been collecting all the start collecting boxes from Citadel, and for no other reason than I think the second campaign I really wanted. Yeah, it was the second campaign. I wanted to have a Lizardman wedding.
Yeah.
And so I bought a bunch of skinks and a bunch of Lizardman Warrior boxes because they're in they were the right price point in that army where like you have to have a lot of them, so they're the cheapest fucking unit that you can get from Lizardman. So I had a bunch of them, and we used them for the campaign. And after that, I was like, I wish I could remember how in the hell to play the old Games Workshop game Warhammer Fantasy. I've never been a big fan of 40K because it's like really annoying. I'm gonna say it flat. This is just square-based nonsense pushing units around. I never liked 40K because it was a lot of single unit tactical combat, which whatever. It's not I don't care about building characters in a fantasy game like this. So now we have the obsession of army building, which is phenomenal. But we had started, so I had gotten the urge and I bought the Battle for the North box set that is currently for 3rd edition from Mantic Games, available on Amazon Prime. It's one of their very few products that are Prime because a lot of people aren't familiar with this game. A lot of people that are new to it, including me. I will say, I'm going to say flatly, it's been almost 2 decades since I played any tabletop style war game. They were always hard books to read, they were hard rule books to follow, and learning them took getting over your social phobias and going to a store to play on a game night. We don't particularly have access in many places to that anymore, which is understandable. Kings of War has proven itself a game that is, you could buy the 2-player box set, you're going to get a buttload of minis. Buttload of minis for the Wild Northman. No, here, let me open my book real quick and make sure that I'm naming these things correctly. So it's you get the Northern Alliance and the Night Stalkers, which the Night Stalkers are very Cthulhian.
Yeah, they're neat. They're neat sculpts.
Their mini designs are really cool, and since I just had the itch to get into it, really worthwhile box set to buy, because you're getting 2 armies worth of minis that you and a friend, you and a loved one, you and the person you sleep with all the time, like literally in the living room or upstairs, like we just fall asleep all the time, guys. It's great. It's kind of adulthood that everybody needs, but it's the kind of thing where throw them together, you're good to roll. That's it. You got 2 armies. The point values aren't even something that matters. You've got units to do what we did. Literally screw around with it, because I couldn't find a very detailed, definitive, logical step map game to watch, because that's what I need. I need a computational. I need it broken down step by step to a point where it's almost like talking to a child and teaching them how to do it
Yeah.
Because the familiarity for me is more than worn off, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate the way we've been playing, which has basically been, our first game was super rough and basic and very clumsy because we were, constantly grabbing the rule book and constantly double checking ourselves. And then with each game, we added a new layer from the rule book. So like we didn't play with nerve for the first couple of gaming sessions, and then we just brought nerve in for the last one, and it completely changed everything. But and I think we're gonna do objectives soon. Like we're gonna keep adding layers of complexity to the gaming.
Yeah,
I appreciate very much.
Since we were both super not sure about the first game,
right.
And the guidebook is pretty good about it. It's close enough, but not. It still leaves fuzz. We just kind of the first game we played bare, just roaming across the table, checking distances, checking
no obstacles.
The game mechanics of how hard a unit hits versus the dice roll. The rolls are super simple. It's 6-sided dice. You got a box of Yahtzee, you are ready to roll. And we played that way, and then we played with the special the attributes, the additional bonuses that certain armies have. All that kind of extra stuff. There's blanket spells and things like that affect your rolls, and then played with nerve. And tonight we're going to play a 550 point game with an objective, because they look like fun. An objective is just scenarios. There's 12 of them in the rulebook, I think. 12? Yeah, there's 12 of them in the rulebook, and they're all different, and they're not all about killing. It makes the game less about just erasing your combatant, your opponent,
which
from the
still
table.
Super fun.
Which I will say,
real, like,
never gets
there's
old.
Nothing wrong with that. That's still super fun.
Yeah, there is something about that where it's like.
I mean, we kept saying like, we'll do 6 turns each,
and
that never happened because we just kept going.
Yeah, it got to a point where like
to see who can. Wipe the floor with the other one.
Yeah, exactly. And it's been real easy to get into. Now, I know I've said some weird things in case you were brand. And this is for people who are brand new, legitimately brand new at wargaming. Because even I still might follow a couple of Facebook groups. I still feel like an outsider because I don't have that super aggressive, obsessive nature with numbers and army building quite yet. I'm not there. I'm definitely on the path. This game has been one that has gotten me interested in building lists and figuring out what I have versus what like play style, how I can make a stronger, more agile battle force army, whatever.
Yeah, that's fun. That's been the fun part for me too. It's just like I get to have my army that I'm building, and I'm gonna paint, and I'm becoming familiar with them.
Yeah.
And what everybody does, and I feel like the more I play with this army, just the more you become like a force to be reckoned with. Once you kind of get to that point where like you know all their strengths and weaknesses, and you can really duke it out.
That's one thing that I like a lot about this versus playing D&D, because eventually, you hit your 20th character and it's a floating loaf of bread, whatever. Like your tactical style is going to always change to the army that you decide to go with, which I went with orcs. What? Tell me about your army.
You want like the different components?
No, just what's the name of them? What kind of what drew you to them, etc.
So I went with the Trident Realm. So they're a very nautical themed army, so they're sort of like warrior mer people.
Yeah.
And that's great. And I think that, you know, the biggest draw was the Thule, so they're like octopus men.
Yeah.
I'm into that. I'm into anything that has tentacles, just generally.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing weird about it.
Nothing at all.
It's fine. I've got my Gygus. They're like these sort of lobster creatures. You know, for me, it was a pretty obvious choice. I'm covered in nautical tattoos, so
yeah,
I like that.
They are fantastic. And I was gonna say, I know, like, I didn't foist them upon you. I just saw them and thought you'd love them.
No, you know me.
Yeah.
You made the perfect choice. This is the army I would have chosen for myself.
Yeah, I feel like it
because you've got shit. Most of my army is ladies in badass armor.
True.
And they look badass. Like they're they're wearing full on armor. There's crossbows. There's tridents, and I have a deep love for like anthropomorphic animal monsters.
True.
Just generally, like I love the mouse folk and stuff like that. So I love the Thule. I like the look of it.
Yeah. Happy dancing octopusman.
Yeah.
Happy dancing octopusman.
They're great. They're so weird. They're weird.
They're great.
How do you feel about the sculpts?
I think I think overall, I think it took me till assembly to really love them, because staring at the same. Now let me take a quick aside. So I presented Hannah with the Mega Army set for the Trident Realms and said, "Hey, I think you'd like these guys." Of course you did. Yeah. And so that was your late Christmas present. And I decided to go with orcs for now, because third edition Kings of War is getting they're getting all the mechanicum in place. They swapped the rule set not even a month or two ago, something like November, I think, was the announcement or the release, or late October. And so the Mantic supports some of their armies. They have options otherwise, in case you happen to be an old, in case you were a Skaven player or a Lizardman player, and you're transferring over. But with Mantic, I liked the orc sculpts the most, because they're just happy, mean monsters. They have the dopiest of faces, and
they are expressive.
And like I have a weird fascination with boar riders. I always have. They've been my orcs on boars are exactly where orcs belong. I don't know what it is, but I'm happy enough with the sculpts. I like them a lot, and they are. I will say that I bought Hannah the Trident Mega Army that's off of Amazon. It is the 2017 edition. Mm-hmm. So that was the last bit. That was their last big sculpt cycle for Mantic, and the next big sculpt cycle is coming soon. And I mean that in, I think, the end of this month, January 20th, their release. I know they're doing a books. There's a set of the core books for the rules. I did it again. Damn it! Gonna break out because of asphalt. Oh. There's a new set of books that are on Mantic Games. That's the hardcover edition of the rulebook, the softcover slim player's handbook, it's the slimmer version of the rulebook, which is, get offended all you'd like, but that I cut the cover off of, remove the spine from, cut all the sheets, and scan them so that I have them on the road. Because we both play with one rule book. It's
convenient.
It's really irritating. So I have the slim rule book, which is still thorough. It's not you're not missing giant pieces. You're not losing out on anything with the book that comes with the starter set. But the hardcover has the more minutia, the stuff that you want to get, the stuff that I want to get to. You know, like mine's on order. Mine's in the mail. Our hardcover rule book and the additional armies book is coming, which includes army lists for all the third-party minis that you would have sitting around the garage, etc. Can't even remember the name of it. Lost Civilizations of blah, 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 blah. I don't know.
Sounds right.
Anyway, yeah, in either case, but yeah, the softcover rule book is what we have. I of course tore it apart and scanned it. Can I borrow you later? And it's a great book. But I know that yeah, January 20th they're doing a set of books on Mantic that is the Extended Armies book, the softcover rule book, the hardcover rule book, all together for $90.
Will it come with a PDF?
I have no idea. I don't work for Mantic.
I would ask, well, you know more about it than I do. I would then say that if there's a list of cons to this game,
yeah,
it would be nice to have the PDF so you can print out.
There is there is that old stigma of like, why are you on your phone while this is a tournament game.
Yeah.
This is the kind of game that you buy so that you can play with friends and play at home, because there are lots of organized tournaments, including Adepticon in Chicago in April, something like that. Like all the big conventions, they're going to have Mantic's going to have a Kings of War tournament, which is great. I get that there's kind of like why would you want it on your phone because you're going to stand there with your phone. It's just the convenience of having it when you're not at home.
Yeah, because you're going to be grabbing that rule book. Probably. More than
likely, you're not going to grab it for the rules. More often than not, you're gonna. I find that like, yeah, with us, like with me having scanned these, I have copies of both of our armies printed out so that we're not just passing the book back and forth, because remembering stats on your army list is a little difficult in game. So, which is why, yeah, you're cracking open the rule book. There are some things that you're going to have, there are some moments that you're going to have, you'll have a first time with, where you'll have that question of, hey, like, what does the rule book say about this maneuver?
Yeah. Can you do this?
Pop it open, you're going to know it, and then it sticks. That is one thing that I do really like about this game, is that the moves, maneuvering, the phase, each phase of a turn, it's all up here now. It's not like
with practice.
Yeah, it doesn't take much at all to get into it, and it's not like trying to you're not trying to decrypt the Da Vinci Code to fucking learn how to play this game the first time.
Yeah,
it's easy. Yeah. It's pretty damn easy to pick up.
I would say that like it might seem complicated for like if you're gonna teach your grandparents how to do it. Take that with a grain of salt. Like,
yeah, I was gonna say.
It might seem complicated but if you've suffered through the process of like building a D&D character,
yeah,
if you've ever even once, or if you played one time, you'd probably be fine.
Yeah, if you've made your own Bitmoji on Snapchat,
yeah. Yeah,
that's about as complex as this is.
Yeah,
it's a very daunting task at first.
Yeah,
but
seems more complicated than it actually is.
Yeah, after you've done it once, you're ready to roll.
Literally.
Pun intended.
Yeah.
Absolutely intended. And that's the thing with it, is that more people should play this, which is why we're here. And I'm gonna harp on this all year.
Yeah.
Look, Dusty DM's still here. I'm still gonna do game stuff for D&D. I'm still gonna do weird painting videos, but I am obsessed. This game is everything that I've wanted in a game, the kind of action that I've wanted, the kind of resolution. This is a game that this is a kind of this is a game that has, yeah, the standard is the end of the sixth turn for objective games. So you and your opponent play 6 turns. It's movement, your ranged attacks, and then your melee attacks. Simple. You're going to do that 6 times. You're going to try to take objectives, or you're going to try to just wipe each other off the board. At the end of the sixth turn, you're going to see who wins. We're talking maybe an hour.
Yeah.
Maybe an hour for a war game.
Yeah.
I've played other tabletop war games where 3 players that that are college kids that were out of their fucking minds are playing a 15,000 point game, and one turn took 3 hours. The resolution was intense.
Yeah.
But this is one that, pick it up, you're ready to roll, ready to just go to it and do it. And I would highly suggest, if anyone has not, if you haven't picked up on this game yet, if you haven't played before, grab the box set. $93 on Amazon Prime. Comes right to your door. You're there. You're gonna dive headlong into the hobby world of building minis, building armies, playing a game. And this is not and in all legit honesty, the first game that we played with placeholders. I didn't use movement trays. I didn't use I used squares of I forget what squares of whiteboard that I'd cut up.
Yeah.
That I was making.
Yeah, we just scribbled what the unit was, and it worked.
Yeah.
It worked fine.
And it worked great that we could just place hold and play it. I don't have to sit and pick each mini off the board every time an attack happens. Yeah. I don't do that. You're fighting unit against unit.
Right.
It's delightful. And it's not something that for those that are brand new, it is hyper-imposing to see that giant box. The attack on the north, big scary mountains and shit, like, it's a big box. You open it up, jam-packed. Every inch of that box is used to put thingies.
Yeah.
That word that I always forget. Little square rectangular sons of bitches with all the minis on it.
Yeah. You're gonna spend a lot of time on assembly. If you're someone who enjoys that, who is a craftsman, then you'll like this game.
Yeah.
I don't think it's, I don't think we should make it sound like you buy the box and then you're ready to go, because there is.
Oh yeah, there's tons of sprues and a lot of cutting. That's the word.
Yeah,
there's
and I'm not someone who super loves that part of it. I like painting minis a lot. I'm learning to like it.
That's true. You did always have me assemble your stuff for you.
Yeah, it was really sweet.
Yeah, and it's something that I enjoy. It is something that I enjoy doing. It keeps my tedium level right where it needs to be balanced, and like my hands are busy, and yeah, you see I gesticulate all the time, and it was the kind of task that I enjoyed. I bought my mega army set is older than my mega army set is the 2015 edition. It came with a lot more orcs than the 2017 edition. In the past week since I've gotten it, it came last Sunday. Since last Sunday, 2 Sundays ago. Was it 2 Sundays ago?
I mean, since we got this game, you've built a game table.
It was the weekend.
You've done so much. You've built all of these bases.
Yeah, it was this week because I had 6 total days off out of 8 or something. 6 out of 9 days were off. But it came the Sunday after Christmas. That's right. And it got here early in the morning, and I assembled in the last week. I've put together 100+ pieces. I put them together. Just finished that Monday, and then Wednesday was all getting my bases ready because I'm a nut. They're magnetic. I've also poured my own.
Yeah, they're great.
I work with, everybody knows, I work with resin, so I poured my own bases for my entire army. Everything's based. I made movement trays. Everything is done, and now I can move on to painting. So it's not a lifelong task that you're walking into, which is the one thing I'm trying to express, is that yes, there is a slight daunt to the task, for sure. There is a good amount of assembly, but it's not something that's going to take you 1,000 years.
No. And again, like I built mine, and I'm not someone who enjoys putting the little pieces together.
Yeah.
I'm starting to, again. Like with the right tools makes the job a lot easier, but
yeah,
I'm pleased with where I'm at.
Yeah.
This isn't even all of it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, no, this was just I was trying to set the scene. There's a whole bunch behind me. I was priming earlier. Yeah, all my goofy stuff is behind me. But yeah, I think that my excitement and passion for it is definitely way high. I feel like you're on the you're cranking the gears and you're keeping up, which is again super fascinating. That like it would pique your interest as much as it would mine.
Yeah, and I think because my favorite part of D&D is honestly minis. We have a monster mini collection.
Yeah,
it's
we have
massive. It's out of hand, and
it's
I like
always
it that
been
way.
I
like it that way. The temptation is so real, and I like this a lot because I get to really play with them.
That's very true.
You know, it definitely brings me just a childlike excitement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it is, I was gonna say, there's a wonder and a joy to it, and then there is also like a very competitive aspect to it. You can definitely get that kind of like, it's time to fucking murder. It's time to murder my partner on the table. Let's do this. That kind of attitude, and it's not imposing or weird. It's not like a personality trying to take over the fucking D&D group or anything like that.
I think that we play very well together.
True.
We're kind of lucky in that, like, we are not going to argue over millimeters.
Right.
We will play so that we measure, we move, and then we sort of check in, like, does this seem fair?
Yeah. Yeah, if we have...
And if there's a dispute, we figure it out. It's
right.
Just, we are lucky. I can see how a different personality type could make this very difficult.
Yeah.
Like, if you're someone who is gonna double check people's measurements or, you know, check the rule book for every single action.
Right.
There's a place for you. I probably wouldn't enjoy playing with you that much.
I was gonna say there's definitely a place for those
lame.
folk,
like,
and
just have fun. Like,
you
don't have to do that.
Yeah, that's one thing that, like, if I were to get familiar enough with the orcs over the next couple of months and really hammer into it and get comfortable enough with my army by the time of, say, Adepticon, that's where the rules count. That certainly in a tournament, at a convention, that's absolutely where it all counts.
You need that.
And it's real good, but it's real good otherwise. If you're at home, it's a fun game to break out and enjoy. Yeah, I was gonna say, and we're lucky enough that I can just build a terrain table.
Yeah.
And have it in the game room and not have to worry about setup and tear down and all that goofy stuff. You don't need this kind of excess. That's for sure. I just happen to have it.
Yeah.
You know, we just happen to be in that kind of universe at all times anyway, so.
Yeah, we're both always working on something.
True. Which is It works. It's definitely a good outlet where we're finally putting our work to use. We could we could sit and paint minis for 1,000 years if you're not putting them on a table. And it does lose that excitement of like, what am I doing this for? Now I get to figure out how to paint.
Yeah.
70 orcs. No, I lie. Plus the boar boys. 90. I'm sorry. Boar riders. The terminology swap for anybody familiar with other tabletop games. That's one where slip ups are always going to happen, and they're always going to be verbal because if you're used to something else, this is not a fill in. For anyone that is familiar with other games, at first this may have been looked at as the fill in because the support wasn't there anymore. Kings of War is no longer any such thing, and to invalidate it in such a way to say, oh, it's just this but not as good. No, it's fucking better. The ease of use, the ability for me to spend I spent $124 on the Trident Realms. For the Mega Army, that is ridiculously low. That's a low entry price into any game
for the amount that you get.
That has this kind of model count, this kind of visual to it. You could definitely play this. You could definitely play this X's and O's on a whiteboard.
Yeah, that's true.
If you're into it, cool. The mechanics are fully sound. They're great, and they are effective in other ways. But to have this, to have these trays full of minis, yeah. I bought the Mega Army set from 2015. That's a larger box, of course. I'm not gonna do anything half-assed. Yeah, if I'm gonna get obsessed with something, it doesn't matter that I had 2 other orc forces on my shelf, plus an old unit of black orcs, plus some boar boys from a former lover. It doesn't matter that I had them there. Of course, I'm gonna go a little above and beyond and spend the whatever it was, $150 on Amazon to get the mega set. I still have 40 unfinished orcs in the box that are not part of the picture on the box. They're just extra points. They're bits. And for me to have 40 full minis that I can use in units sitting in a bits box right now, that's a lot. That's a lot of excess for that small of a price. The overall value of this definitely comes from the longevity of assembly, painting, and playing. Once you're happy with what you got, maybe you have somebody that maybe you play with somebody that let's not even paint them. Let's just get them together and get them on the table. Do it for as long as you want. Enjoy the shit out of it. Yeah, but I'm gonna go sneeze my brains out. And
did you want to talk about the mechanics of army building?
I do very much. So let's take we'll be right back. We'll finish this segment here in a second. What?
Fix it in post.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm sure you have to pee. It's been 40 minutes. Okay. So, yeah, after a nice long chickadee chat, we are gonna talk about the upcoming game. I say the upcoming game because we're gonna record the 550 point game that we play later tonight. Probably not this one, but we will be doing that very soon. It'll be out next week. Takes a little extra to set up and get a nice overhead second shot, all kinds of crazy horse shit you don't care about. Neither do I, but I'll get it there. Get my care level up there.
Yeah.
Boop.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. So, okay. So, in any size game, you can, there are specific combinations that are indeed legal, so that we're not just fighting, like I'm not bringing in 5 hordes of, 5 regiments of boar riders that are archers. They're a special unit of my army. I can't have but one.
Mm-hmm.
So you can include up to 2 troops for each infantry, heavy infantry, chariot, or cavalry regiment in your army. So there's this kick-ass drawing of stuff that you can do. Stuff. So these things unlock these things. Basically, you're gonna pick a high point value unit to unlock the rest of your monsters, or to unlock the rest of your army. So, what is on your list? Okay. Let's explain the point system. Just real quick. 550 points is a small game for us because both of our units are not, both of our armies, all the armies, in fact, do not have extremely expensive units. There's nothing over, I think like 240 is like the heroes, and
it depends.
I think the Dragon Rider on mine is,
yeah, like typically like your monsters and titans cost more.
Yeah. There's the Northern Alliance. So the points. Let's pick any of these guys here. Okay. These are my. This is my book. This is heavy infantry because orcs are larger minis. So a standard infantry is on a 20 millimeter base, square. Orcs are larger than that, so they're on 25 millimeter bases. No biggie. That's the only reason that orcs are all heavy infantry now. It's just a demarcation that doesn't matter to anyone but me. The standard infantry units for orcs, the Moraks, which are they got more axe than anybody else. The troop of 10 is 115 points. That's what we mean by points.
It's like money.
It's like, yeah, it's using the gold that you got for downloading the app to make a sweet hero.
Yeah.
You know, it's just a joke. Sorry, that's an aside. Anyway, but it's denoting a number that you have in the bank to purchase and build an army from, so that both sides are evenly balanced. And balanced to a point where you're not running 50 units where I'm running 3.
Right.
You know, it's just that, it's that simple. So for your 550 points, what's on your list of things that you're gonna take?
I spend it on?
Yes.
So far, when I've been building armies, I like to start with my hero. Now I believe you can choose either a hero or a monster or a trident or a war machine, or a titan or a war machine. So you can't just have all heroes.
Right.
Right. So for this one, I chose a siren, and I'm using a Games Workshop Banshee mini for her because she's the right size and she just about fits the part. I think she looks pretty good. So she's like my spellcaster. She's, you know, if I'm the general of this army, or if I'm the queen of this army, she's like my general. So she has some special abilities, special rules that come in later. So she only cost 80 points, but she comes with a list of spell options that cost extra. So typically I'll pick out my hero and then hold off on the spells until the very end to see what I have left, and kind of decide that way.
Right.
And then I'll build the rest sort of around her. For my standard infantry, I went with a unit of Thule, so they're my little octopus men. They cost 105. There's 10 of them. Standard melee, they don't have any range.
They're pretty quick though.
But they are
6.
Right.
Yeah, their movement speed is 6 inches.
Everything has special abilities.
Right.
So it just depends on what you like. And then as another infantry unit, I went with my Naiad Ensnarers. So they've got nets.
Right.
So like whatever flavor of gladiator that had nets, someone will know. But I'm excited about them because they have regeneration.
Ooh.
Which I like.
Which is a super neat feature we'll talk about in-game.
But again, they are not ranged, so they can't shoot at a distance.
Right.
They have to be right up next to you. For my ranged infantry, I went with my Naiad Heart Piercers. They have harpoon guns, steady aim. They are also regeneration, which is a nice feature.
Steady aim means they can move at the double and fire and still fire.
Something like that.
Because if you're
right.
at the so in the movement phase, you can move your speed, or you can move at the double, which is double your speed,
and then sacrifice.
And then if you're ranged, then you're sacrificing. But when you charge, then you can get into melee combat. It's all stuff we're gonna go over very soon.
Yeah. And then at the last, I chose my Gygus monsters. I like to have.
They're mean as fuck.
Yeah, they're my monstrous infantry, or my large cavalry. So they're kind of my meat shields.
Yeah, that makes sense.
My big heavy guy. Yeah, I usually like to try to have a little bit of everything. I like a balance. I want something that can range attack, something that can melee attack, at least one thing that's sort of expendable.
Right.
You know, where it's like, I'm not gonna cry. I'm not gonna be too upset.
They're not your linchpin. They're
exactly like
they're your meat shields.
Right, they're my pawns. And then I had a little bit left over, so again I went back to my Siren, and I had exactly 30 points left, so I chose Drain Life. We're gonna figure out what that means.
Ooh, that's I was gonna say that's a new feature.
Sounds real fun. She's got some great looking spells.
Yeah.
Hex, Heal, Mind Fog, Weakness. I'm into it. So.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say I haven't picked mine yet, but it'll be silly, more than likely. It'll be I'm real into cavalry and having archers, skulk archers. I think they're great. It's just the thing. So yeah, it's a slight math problem, but not it's not insane to pick. The average, the average large army is 2,250 points. It's a lot of
to work with.
Yeah, so like even with my small, even in a small game, like my skulks, my archers are 100. A regiment of skulks is 110 points. That's a little under a quarter of the points that I have available, and it's super easy to follow. That's the one thing I like about this, is that, like, for the sake of the army lists, man, they are just phenomenally blah 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 blah. The characteristics of each unit, of each hero, everything is marked out in a simple, easy to follow format. The 4 bubbles give you your speed, your melee attack number, and then your defense and your ranged weapon. So that's pretty much it. That's all it takes to decide what you want in your army.
Yeah, I really
figuring out what you like the most.
Point system in this game a lot, because if you have leftover, you can buy little things.
Yeah, you
like
can buy.
the-
Yeah,
little
there's
trinkets
magic.
and the-
Yeah,
I
magic
like- I like
spells
that.
and the extra stuff
Like
that gives you.
I have 15 points, so I'm gonna buy like a little amulet that gives this unit immunity to something, or like like a little bonus, which is kind of neat.
Boners.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, that's definitely the thing is like they don't make it super complex to add to Magic or to your heroes' choices, and that's one thing I do love about the info blocks is that anything additional, it's going to give you anything that you can choose from. If you're, like your options, like the God Speaker for the orcs is, I can add 25. I can take an extra 25 points and put him on a gore. So he's on a gore. You can do Bane Chant. You can do, he's got all these things, and it's right here. It's right here in this block. I'm not rushing to a secondary book to figure out what the hell is going on. It's not complex. It's easy to throw together, and it's easy to do it by hand. That's the biggest thing is that other games I might have had to get a program and figure out the logic of that program to understand how to most efficiently build an army. I don't have to do that with this. I can just sit here and do the math.
Yeah.
And it's pretty. It's plain. It's plain enough that it's right there. You're done. All your stuff there. You're good to roll. And I forgot how small my dudes are. Feels like my section is smaller than others. It's not. I just miscounted the pages that I flipped through. But yeah, you're gonna hear this for the next couple of weeks. Buy Kings of War. Do it. Pick an army. Either get on Mantic. The link's gonna be in the description below. It does not do anything for me, apart from give me that big, swollen, throbbing hobby heart that every boy in the world should have, or every girl. This is a very accessible game. You can jump on Mantic, look through everything. The Abyssal Dwarves are the first minis that they're releasing this year. They are amazing. I will say I love the new sculpts a whole lot. The growth of this game over 3 editions. Now at its, what I would say is its peak, just because I'm jumping in now. It's like how I say 3rd edition D&D is the best. It's because it's the first fucking edition of D&D that I ever played. I'm always going to love it more, but it's more complex than a Rubik's Cube blindfolded with your feet. The thing about Kings of War is jump on their website, look through the armies that they support, buy through Mantic. Buy Mantic's, see if the armies on Mantic tickle you the right way first. They've got Abyssal Dwarves. They've got regular dwarves. They've got the Basileans in case you're a knight in shining armor and you wear Fedora to the mall. They've got Undead, the Empire of Dust, Trident, the Trident Realms. Their orcs are, I would say, apart from orcs that do not exist in modernity anymore, they have that silliness to them. They have that silly fucking sneer that we're gonna go worship Orcus and drink out of the skulls of our enemies look on their face all the time. I fucking adore the orc sculpts. Boars are great. The gores, they're fucking awesome. Buy through Mantic, because the only way for Mantic to continue to grow, support this product even further is to buy their shit.
Yeah.
And they're going to give it to you at a killer price. Again, this doesn't affect my pocket in any way apart from, seriously, I love this game. I think you will too.
We just need more people to play with.
Yeah. There are, knock the dust off, buy a cube of Chess X dice. Let's play. Let's do it. But yeah, there's all kinds of good stuff. Yeah, the Abyssal Realm. Oh my god.
I feel like we could talk about this.
Yeah, there
I
are.
know, there's so much.
I was gonna say there are 17 armies, I think, at this point that Mantic supports specifically, and by supports I mean makes minis for, which is excellent. So here in the U.S., it is a Mantic's a European company. They are Glasgow, I think they are, or North England, but but in either case, it's really easy to get their stuff over there. It's also just as easy to get it here. It takes a little extra time. No biggie. You're gonna have to wait 4 days instead of 2. God forbid. It's worth the wait. Worth it. Totally worth it. They are. I can't even express my excitement, and the fact that this is not just something that I'm not just sitting here with the like rope out of frame, just waiting to like force you into enjoying it as much as I do. Like to have the person that I love with all my heart like fucking enjoy this as much as I do, and not be I gotta go do your bullshit again kind of hobby. Like, that's fucking awesome. Man, this is awesome. So, give it a try. I do seriously recommend the box set first, because you're getting 2 starter armies that are you're either going to grow with them, or you're going to have them available and move on to different armies. And then you've got plenty to choose from with your friend. Yes. If you're lucky enough. Probably. Yeah. But yeah, I will be singing the praises of Kings of War for a little while here. I don't know that it's gonna burn off. I really don't.
I'm like so ready to play right now.
I know.
I can feel my body tensing up, because I'm like so ready to just like.
Yep.
They're all ready, like they're ready to go, and I just want to.
We ran through Hannah's list. Sorry. I'm gonna throw my list together here in 2 or 3 minutes. It'll take me nothing at all. We're gonna do some shit on our own, and then next weekend's videos are going to be playthroughs that are not fucking boring, that are live, that are full shot, that are just interesting and in depth. Hopefully.
I'll do my best.
Let's see if we can find. Yeah.
I'll do my best.
You'll do great.
Take too much time.
I'll buy a chess clock.
Oh God.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
I just like to think about things. Just a little bit.
Do that on my turn.
You're a brat.
I know. I'm kidding. But in either case, it's
You're going down.
Welcome to the Dusty DM, my new co-host.
Bye.
See you guys.